During this quarantine, I've been working, but I had a 4-day weekend for several weekends. And I've been wanting a 4-day weekend to go backpacking for a long time. And I actually didn't use any of these 4-day weekends to go on a 4-day hike. This weekend, I forgot my puffy. I forgot my jacket. So I gotta bail. I'm gonna go home. But forgot my iPhone, my cozy, and my puffy. I walked one click back to my house and got the iPhone, and then kept going and got back on trail without my puffy or my cozy. It was hot yesterday, but this morning it's windy and it's cold. I'm closer to the beach and it's just colder out here than it was where I live by the bay. So I'm gonna bail. What I have here in my hand is the Flat Cat Gear Snow Leopard windscreen with the IsoClean multi-fuel stove 3.0. It nests all here together in the Evernew 500 mug pot. The Snow Leopard windscreen is 1 ounce, and that includes the pot holder stakes and the titanium floor. And the multi-fuel stove 3.0 is also approximately 1 ounce. Nested inside of the Evernew 500, it's about 5 ounces, and with the lighter, it's 6 ounces. And it's all here, right here. All right. All right, there it is. Okay, so this is made of titanium, very lightweight. The owner of Flat Cat Gear, John, he is a professor at UCLA, and I am from a party school called ECU in Greenville, North Carolina. So for me, this is like graduating from a party school and getting to party with the experts, because the Flat Cat Gear Snow Leopard stove system is very fun to use. It uses hand sanitizer. The intended use of the Snow Leopard windscreen is to boil water in a coffee cup with 70% rubbing alcohol. So without any further ado, let's just jump straight in and boil some water. So for my first experiment, I boiled water with the Snow Leopard windscreen and multi-fuel 3.0 stove in its intended use, with a titanium floor, outdoors, in fair weather, on a flat surface, using 70% rubbing alcohol. The 70% rubbing alcohol was one of the most difficult fuels that I had to find. I checked 5 pharmacies before I found it. It's not really easy to find, but I did get a hold of it. It was $3, and that brings the price of boiling water down to about $1 or less, because it only takes about 1 ounce of fuel to boil water. Now, the boil time with 70% rubbing alcohol and with 70% hand sanitizer was the same. The burn time on both was about 13 minutes, and I was able to boil water in about 10 minutes. The boil time on red heat, using red heat for its intended use with the Snow Leopard and a coffee cup, with 1 ounce of red heat and 3 milliliters of water. So 30 milliliters of red heat plus 1/10 of that in water. The results were identical. I boiled water in 10 minutes. The burn time on the stove was 3 minutes longer. I was able to burn fuel for 16 minutes. But it seemed to burn at a much higher BTU, and it put a lot of soot on the bottom of my mug pot, and it also bloomed out the top of the snow leopard. As soon as it got as soon as the water was about to boil at about 10 minutes, the flame got huge and yellow flames shot out the top of the snow leopard. So that was kind of the big difference with the red heat. Now, red heat is even more difficult to get than 70% rubbing alcohol. Denatured alcohol at 99% alcohol is illegal in San Francisco. It isn't possible to purchase 99% denatured alcohol at a hardware store. You have to go to an automotive store and buy it as heat. Supposedly, yellow heat creates less soot because there's a different kind of alcohol called methanol, but it leaves a sticky residue in your stove afterwards. Now, I found that there was a soapy residue inside of the multi-fuel stove after using red heat, so I didn't feel like there was a huge advantage to using red heat. Now, the easiest fuel to find was 62% alcohol hand sanitizer. Now, out in the field, 62% alcohol hand sanitizer did not boil water as efficiently as the other types of fuel. 62% 62% hand sanitizer is not one of the intended fuels for the snow leopard, but it is really easy to find. And what I found is that I burned about 2 ounces of it, and I got a burn time of about 8 minutes, and then the hand sanitizer was completely burned up, and my water had not boiled yet. Basically, I set the hot water aside. I refilled the multi-fuel stove with more hand sanitizer. I lit that one a second time, and then after about 15 minutes, I was able to boil water with a 62% hand sanitizer. So now to compare the Flat Cat Snow Leopard with another awesome windscreen, I've got here the Trail Designs Caldera Cone in aluminum. All right, it's $35, and it's a beast. It's about 2 or 3 inches taller than what you might be expecting, and it really only is intended to work with 99% denatured alcohol, which can only be purchased as red heat. The way that it works with this ultra lightweight Kojin stove right here. The Kojin has got a fiberglass foam inside that absorbs the heat, and it doesn't dump it out. It holds on to it, okay? And it burns 1/2 an ounce of fuel per cooking time. This aluminum caldera cone is specifically made for the Evernew 500. It even says EV50 on the inside. Now for $100 extra, you can get the same caldera cone in titanium, and it fits inside the cup. It cuts right through the middle, and you can roll it up in 2 separate pieces and put it inside the cup. Now, as far as weight, the titanium caldera cone, which is called the Fisher, it's only going to weigh about 1 ounce less than the aluminum. Okay, not only that, it comes with extra parts so that you can burn wood inside of here. And once you add the extra parts, it no longer really nests inside the mug, and you're adding some more weight. Okay. Also, the aluminum is not intended to burn wood. because this joist right here, this dovetail hinge, that needs to fit together for the windscreen to work properly. So you want to minimize the amount of wear and tear that you put on this caldera cone, so you don't want to burn wood in here. However, the caldera cone is a high heat, low oxygen cooking system. Interestingly, this system right here, the fuel canister with the Soda Windmaster stove, that comes out to a half a pound, 8 ounces. The caldera cone in aluminum inside of its plastic case here, that comes out to about 6 ounces, and as soon as you add a little bit of heat, that's gonna come out to the exact same weight as the Soda Windmaster with the fuel canister. However, the Trail Designs caldera cone in aluminum is only 35 bucks. So that's actually half the price of the Soda Windmaster. Okay, but as far as weight, the weight is the same, and it packs down to about twice the size of the fuel canister. All right, as you can see. That's the other issue with the caldera cone, is that it doesn't really nest inside of anything. Put 15 milliliters, which is a half an ounce, of red heat into the Kojin stove. And then I'm gonna boil 400 milliliters of water in the ever-new 500 mug pot and just see how that goes.
Here we go.
All right, and then, whoop, it doesn't come out, all right? So once you pour your heat into your fiberglass foam, it's in there. You don't need to worry about it.
All right, move this, move some of this other stuff. Okay.
Okay, now with all of these stoves, it's important that you put your flame directly beneath the mug in order to maximize your heat. If the flame is offset, that affects your boil time, and that affects your ability to cook. All right, so there it is, it's lit up. I'm gonna carefully place this over it. All right. You have to kind of eyeball it, get some water in there. And basically it's heating up the mug from 5 sides. It's heating the bottom, front, back, left, and right, all simultaneously. All right, so as you can see, this thing is a beast. It's cooking up. It's cooking pretty hot. Okay. All right, so the flame went out in about 5 minutes, and I never really got a rolling boil. The water definitely got hot. But if you check out the outside of my mug, it's completely black with soot. It's like spray painted black. So, yeah. It's kind of a beast, you know? It creates a lot of soot, creates a lot of smoke. I think it does take like the same amount of fuel as the Snow Leopard, and the boil time is gonna be similar. I mean, I was getting a boil in about 9.5 minutes with the Snow Leopard. With this one, the water got hot after about 5 minutes, but it never really reached a rolling boil. So I'm thinking the action on it is similar. So that's just food for thought, just something to think about. This one, the caldera cone, it's probably the most famous, at least on the internet. It's probably the most famous windscreen. But I'm really interested in burning 70% hand sanitizer with the Snow Leopard. I just think that this is gonna be easier for me to get, just to get a hold of the fuel. It's just gonna be easy. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.